Now to another casualty in the Trump administration's campaign to eliminate DEI.
The national park just removed a reference to Harriet Tubman from a webpage about the Underground Railroad. Several references to enslaved people and the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850 are also gone. The webpage now leads with commemorative stamps of various civil rights leaders, including the phrase black-white cooperation.
Now, I can get on this microphone and discuss, Terrence Howard claiming that Puff tried to seduce him. And, that might be a topic for another time. But in this particular instance, we want to talk about how the Trump administration is moving forward by eliminating DEI and also by eliminating stuff like pertaining to Black history, as you can see. This is coming, not as a shock that these things are happening, but it's good to, bring awareness to it when it does happen, okay? So the Trump administration, as you can see, has made some changes to government websites and content related to American history, particularly regarding the history of slavery and the civil rights movement. Specifically, the National Park Service has removed Harriet Tubman's image and quote from its Underground Railroad webpage and has also altered the language used to describe the Underground Railroad, removing references to enslaved people and the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850. These changes are seen as part of a broader effort by the Trump administration to influence how American history is taught and presented, with the goal of promoting a more quote-unquote patriotic and unified narrative that downplays the realities of slavery and racism. Now, again, this is not a surprise. When we see things like this, it's just to bring awareness when we do. And the reason being is history can be rewritten several times. I mean, it has been, it will continue to be. So the importance of education in this particular instance is very important. I can speak and say that I've noticed in schools that a lot of Black history is not being taught in the past Februarys. A lot of Februarys have gone by, and I've seen schools not even touch Black history. I've seen schools celebrate Super Bowl championships by having, quote unquote spirit days dedicated to it. I've seen, other things being celebrated. February is Valentine's Day. I've seen more crafts done for Valentine's Day than I have Black History reports. So you can see that this is happening. And as I often tell people, education doesn't end at 3:30 or whatever prospective time you stay in school. You have to continue to educate children as well as ourselves. There's a lot of history that we don't know as adults on these particular subjects and all. Now, Harriet Tubman, most people know the story of Harriet Tubman and all, but it just doesn't stop with Harriet Tubman. It's a lot of things that a lot of us need to be educated on or re-educated on, so that way we can teach the next generation that's coming up. The broader context of the changes made in this particular situation by the National Park Service webpage is that they are a part of a broader effort by the Trump administration to influence how American history is taught, presented, and preserved. This includes targeting diversity, equity, and inclusion programs across federal agencies, as well as issuing new orders targeting institutions and a lot of people didn't really notice, the Smithsonian is where they're going after next, as well as the National Museum of African American History and Culture. Now, we all know how long and how hard people fought to get that open out there in Washington. And now they're talking about possibly cutting funding to those institutions. The changes reflect an attempt to promote a more, again, patriotic and, again, unified narrative that downplays the realities of slavery and racism, aligning with the administration's anti-DEI mandate. So, again, we have to look at these things from a broader perspective and see that, history can always be taken away, rewritten. As time goes by, generations will forget. I use the Terrence Howard situation as kind of a piece to say, we can get distracted easily. So when the internet and YouTube and everybody's focusing on that, nobody's paying attention to something that just happened not too long ago today, which is what you're seeing here. And it's the subtle changes that always get you. It's never something that's broad and just in your face and in one fell swoop. These are the subtle changes that happen over time. So, we all know that there were a lot of, books on Black history that were banned and things of that nature. And again, one of the subtle things that happen as time goes on. So this is an important part right now that what do you do? So I tell people all the time, please, go out here, get these books in your hand, not on the computer, not on the Kindles and all with, iPads, whatever you get them on. Even though it's convenient and it's very good to have in a pinch when, you just want to, just have something in your hand to say, let me read something real quick. Those things are good. And I'm not going to say talk here, saying talk like I don't do it myself. But I'm also a person, me personally, that like to have a book in my hand. Why? Because you never know when you have situations like this. When people control technology, you don't know what exactly they can change in any book that you purchased. So it's always important to tell people to, try to get a library in your house if you can, specifically dealing with history, because, again, that book that was written so many years ago might look a lot different, when you get it on those digital platforms. So it's good to have that. But I wanted to just jump in and tap in on this and just get your thoughts on it. What is your thoughts on, the history of America, which is our history, speaking as a Black man, as well as many others that contributed to it. But, it's specifically our history that is being altered. I just wanted to tap in and get your thoughts on it to see what you think about this particular situation with the Harriet Tubman being removed from the National Park Service. What do you think will be removed next? Who do you think will be removed next? Drop it all in the comments. And if you like this content, once again, please hit like, subscribe, put your notifications on. It might be a small click for you, but it means a lot to us to keep this machine going. Once again, it's Carl Gerard from the Only One Mic podcast. Saying peace.